Hello, everyone. Good evening, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Faith, Family, and Finance. I am Sharindria Robinson.
And I'm Marcus Robinson.
We are so happy to have you on tonight. If you are watching this, as I always tell you every Sunday, if you are watching from from our personal pages, because maybe we've shared to that page, I ask you to go on over to Faith, Family, and Finance Robinson Coaches Faith, Family, Finance, excuse me, on Facebook, and start watching there so that we can interact. And we're just so excited to have you tonight to have this conversation. We have a special guest with us this evening, and we're trying to work out some technical difficulties as well, but I think we're going to be okay. So, thank you again for tuning in. I'm going to pause because I need to give you time. Hit that share button. Share this broadcast. Even if you're one of our guests, let's take the time, share this broadcast. And we want to have a candid conversation tonight. And tonight, we are going to talk about, some people call it the lockdown. That's what some people are calling it. The lockdown. We're going to talk about sheltering in place. We're going to talk about sheltering in place. Let's just leave it there. We're going to talk about that. I heard someone say, this is a true statement, and I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. I heard a pastor say that, and it's a pastor I don't know, so that makes it. I don't know, but I was on. I heard a pastor say, it's not the coronavirus that's killing my people. It's the inability to come together and socialize, gather, be with people, taking them out. Put another way by someone else, it's not the virus that's bringing harm to our. It's the fact that I have to stay in the house with my family. That's what's hurting me. So we want to talk about it. We want to talk to some individuals, talk to some couples, talk to you about how you're weathering this storm. How is it being home all day for some people? How is it being home all day during this situation? So we have three couples tonight. And our three couples come from three different walks of life. I'm going to let Marcus introduce our three couples, but I want to tell you our three couples. We got one couple who's expecting a child. One couple who has children. I want to say small children. Did I get that right? Small children in the home, not relatively small, young children in the home, and another couple who are empty nesters and have grandchildren. So we're gonna cover the gamut in terms of the couples that we have and being able to talk. Now wait, if you're watching and you're single, do not log off this. I need you to stay on. I need you to stay engaged. I need you to share with some other people because there's going to be something that you can gain from this conversation as well. And we can even talk about doing it again next week with you as our guest as we talk about people who live alone. So let's go. Let's talk about and see who we have on with us today.
All right, so we have Hamilton Grant, Hamilton and Alana Grant, and can you do something with this apologies? We have Montez, and we have Nate Miller, Nate and Alicia Miller.
Did you just not call? Oh. Summer says she can't see us.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. That's why Marcus was working technical difficulties. So people on Facebook Live can't hear us, but they cannot see us. I tell you. Okay. So I'm glad y'all able to hear us, but you cannot see us. So we're gonna work on that. So he's doing he's running interference there so that you're able to see us. Let's see. Our participants just hang tight. This is new. So for those of you who are wondering, we're using a new platform to try to get our guests, and we tested everything today, and it worked perfectly earlier today. But we are using Skype interface with Facebook to be able to bring our guests to you also online, so that you can see them as well. So we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties. We're getting the messages that you're saying that you can't see us. So hopefully shortly you will be able to. You'll be able to see us, even if we have to switch out the camera that we're using, which we're about to do now. Okay, so they still, I know. So I'm just gonna keep the show going. This is gonna be a little awkward because you can't see us, but we're just gonna keep the show going, and I'm going to interact and listen to your or read your comments. I see we have Summer on. I need you to type, and we see we have. Oh, my mom is on. Thanks, mom, for watching. She said, "Mom and Pop Brown." We have some others of you on. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're here, we go. Hey, we're getting close. We're getting closer. Let us know also where you're watching from, what city you're representing. Mrs. See, Marcus said, Marcus mentioned Montez. Can you hear me? But he did not. Yes, you can. We're going to unmute you in just a second. He didn't call your wife name. I see you right there, Mrs. That's what he said. And you're my Facebook friend, but I'm not make sure I'm not. I'm not going to mess your name up because I do that. I don't want people doing that to me. You can unmute. You can say it. Okay.
Shakia,
Say it again.
Shakia.
I wasn't gonna say Shakia. Why wasn't I gonna say Shakia? That's why I wanted you to say it. Montez and Shakia. Okay, Montez and Shakia. How old are your children?
7 and 3.
Oh, yes, 7 and 3. So 7 and 3 years old. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about where let people know, let our viewers know where you live, and do you go to work? Do each of you go leave out of the house every day? That's how we want to start off for each couple. We want to talk about who's in your house and do you leave from the house every day. That's how we want to start. So with Marcus and I, we are, everyone knows that we have 3 little people in our home, and Marcus leaves faithfully every single day, about the same time every day, unless I have a pressing appointment. So I may leave 2 to 3 days out of the week to go to the office, and so we don't have the we are both here all day every day, just the 5 of us. Um, but we do have a little bit of that. But almost every day, excuse me, he is out of the house. So we don't feel exactly what some people are feeling when they're saying that they're in the house all day. So um, tell us tell us what your situation is.
Well, our situation is I work at a funeral home, and my wife is IT the director for the Family Health Center. Our biggest issues now is daycare because we have a 7 and 3 year old, and because schools are out and we're both essential workers, we have to figure out and juggle how we're going to have daycare from day to day, which is sometimes a day to day situation where we have elderly grandparents and parents that we don't want to have them at risk, but we still have to go to work on a daily basis and try to juggle um, being home sometimes where one spouse may be home and the other may be working or maybe having to try to take them to our jobs, which we don't want to do, but sometimes we're forced to have to do that, make that decision.
Wow, wow. So that is tough. So you're still going into um, Family Health Center every day.
Yes.
Okay. Are there a lot of people that are coming in, or
Our patient load has definitely increased. The people that are coming in, we are testing them at the door. We take their temperatures and ask them just those basic questions before they enter in the door. But we've definitely seen a decrease in our patient load.
okay? I
We've seen an increase at the funeral home as well.
You say you seen a decrease at the funeral home, or
Increase.
right, an increase. Yeah, I was gonna bring up that and ask you about the funeral home. But I have to go. I have to go aside just for one quick question because I do need to ask this question. And for those of us who do follow you on social media, I just need to know: did you get your banana pudding?
Who's looking for banana pudding?
I think we got frozen. We got.
I did.
Okay,
Eat it.
okay. So I had to make sure because
The snacks are not safe during quarantine
let
time.
me tell you. So that could be one of the things that we're gonna talk about. I know my next couple has something some insight on this as well. The snacks because we've actually had to. Well, not we. Well, I saw some stuff in your car. I saw you hoarding that
Hey,
stuff.
hey, hey,
I
hey,
saw
hey,
the stuff in
hey,
your
hey,
car.
hey, hey.
So I've had to keep snacks to keep things. in the car. So y'all talk about that. Let me tell you, we're gonna get back to what we're doing, but these are part of the fights, because if I buy something and I have my mouth ready for that thing that I bought, and I get in the house and y'all have eaten all the snacks. I keep snacks. I do. I'm the first to say that I hide snacks in the house and I hide snacks in my trunk. There's stuff in the car. It really is. Because the snacks are not safe. The snacks are not safe
Horrible.
during this quarantine. Um, and so yeah, I'm glad you got your banana, sister. I'm so glad you got that. So juggling trying to find childcare. So your situation is both of you are out of the house and working every day, and so it. But do you still feel some of the strain, some of the things that some of the rest of the world and other couples are feeling, other families are feeling? As I'm sure a lot of your other extracurricular activities, meetings, things that you would usually do after hours, many of those things have been canceled. So talk to us about that.
For us, we were home together for a week because we had to be quarantined because of some situations that happened on the job. And during that week was one of the best weeks I could feel. We were able to bond and get through some things that we wouldn't have normally done because we didn't have the time to. So I think if you use the time wisely, you may see some ugly stuff, but that's time that you can clean it up during those moments when you're home instead of being bored or idle. So definitely just strategically using the time wisely and thinking it through, and realizing that there are a lot of things that you can do during this time that are productive.
Okay, one last question for you, and I want everyone, all the couples, to share this information. How long have you been married?
It'll be 6 years Sunday on the 26th.
Oh, Sunday the
Congrats.
26th. Congratulations, 6 years. And I want
Thank you.
to say this is the most interesting thing, as we just celebrated 15 years on the 9th. It'll be definitely an anniversary that you'll never forget.
Never.
It'll be an anniversary. Write about it. Write about it. Everybody who's having to celebrate anniversaries, birthdays, all these special occasions during the quarantine is definitely ones that we will never forget. So make it memorable, write about it. But I'm glad to hear you say that it was one of the best weeks that you had being home together for that one week. We're gonna circle back around and come back to you. I want to go over to, I think, the couple that's probably been married the longest on the line. That is um, the Millers. The Millers are on. We can get them. Make sure your microphone is up. I want to have you do the same thing. If you can share with everyone how long you've been married, and are the two of you, what do you do? Are you home during this time together? Or are you going out to work? And because you have been married longer than anybody that's on this line, share with us some tips or something that you may have for couples who are struggling, trying to figure it out during this time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nathan. This is my wife, Alicia. We've been married for 29 years.
Wait, 29?
29
Look,
years,
29.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, 29.
over half our lifetime. That's another story anyway. But but I go to work. I leave the home 4 days out of the week, so I'm out, and Alicia she stays at home. So I kind of get out and go and come back. Um, uh, my thing is the challenge. I really don't have a challenge. She may have one that she want to share with you all, but I, I don't have one. I don't have a challenge. All I say is that no matter how long that you're married, everyone probably needs space every now and then. We don't have any children at home. We have grandkids who are away, but we blow up FaceTime all the time. So we utilize that. But you know, binge watching movies is what we've been doing. We've been watching movies for a watching a series of movies and everything. So, I mean, when we feel that we have some time or need some time apart or what have you, we don't have a real big house, but we got enough rooms in here so we can do whatever we want to do. I even went out myself and got a storage shed to put it together my day. That's 3 days it
What?
took me to put it together. So, We just do those things. But most of all, it's been a real good time being together here because I was in the military for 28 years, and I was gone a lot from my family. So this time that we're having right now, it's good time together. So, and also we was in Utah for 3 years, so you go figure that. So it's kind of like being here, but in Utah for 3 years. So we figured it out with no kids there. So we having fun, we having fun, and we just having a good time.
So you guys are able to have a good time. But I talk to couples who are struggling, who are really having a difficult time, and I believe that this time right here, it's for all of us. It's like you're gonna see what you're made of, not just when it comes to relationships, but when it comes to just who we are as in the body of Christ, just who we are. Like this is when the rubber meets the road, and so if you were already, if your relationship or your marriage was already on the rocks before we got to this point, like if you already didn't really like your spouse, how you get to that point where you just may not like the person. Um, if you were there, if you're getting to that point or you're at that point, and now you're forced to be in the house with them, though, what can people do to try to keep it together? Do you have anything to share? And I'm glad, because you are there and y'all are doing great. You're having a good time. What can people do who may be struggling though during this time?
We are having a good time, and on the other hand, still it's sometimes not a bed of roses either. But uh, hey, I do a lot of folding of clothes now that I didn't do before. I'm just keeping it real with you. So I fold up a lot of
You do
clothes.
the laundry.
I do a lot of laundry now, a lot of
Oh
cleaning
yeah.
around the house, and we do things together. One of the things that we did was that we had a night out, and what we do is we dress up just like we going out on the town. We set up a table and we do the like dining out. So dance, that kind of got to get used to that one because the dancing part because she's not the dancer and I am. So
Oh, okay, okay.
nobody was able to see it but just her and I, so I could kind of like
Do whatever.
but you gotta have fun, man. I
So
mean,
y'all, wait a
you,
minute.
Yeah,
you
So
you just
just
got to
gotta
be
have fun.
creative.
y'all got dressed up. So y'all got dressed up to stay in the house. Really? Wow. So
Yeah.
you got dressed up, came downstairs, and y'all danced and had dinner.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
We just, hey, we don't have enough time on our hands, so
I love it.
that's what we did. We actually did that. So
But one thing I always tell young couples, especially couples that are just starting out, is that you have to continue to do the things that put you all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Continue dating each other
Mm-hmm.
and making time for each other. Um, actively listening to each other. If you ask your spouse, "How was your day?" Please take time to listen to them and actually hear what they're saying. Because then you're picking up on key things. Oh, okay, I have really paid attention to what he or she said about their day. And I picked up on some stressors or some things that they may be going through on their job. You two shared about being essential workers. That's really stressful during this time. So um, I would implore you all to really take the time to talk things through and listen to each other about your day, kind of be there for each other because this is a challenging time for both of you. And it's challenging for all couples, but you want to take that time to date one another, to really listen to each other and hear each other. And never, ever, ever forget to pray together. Take that time to be on one accord. This is the time when you really put that work into your marriage. Because a lot of people are just getting married just for the sake of saying, I want a big, nice wedding
Yeah.
and I just want to be married. But know what it entails. It's work.
Mm-hmm.
and it's work all the time. It's not because you've been married 1 year or 30 years. It's work, and you got to stay committed to wanting your relationship to work and putting that time and energy into making it work.
Wow.
I just want to add one more thing.
Okay.
It's a lot easier, I think, to be creative when you're a younger couple versus being married for 29 years. I just want to put that out there as well. So when you've been married for 29 years, you pretty much, that is a challenge. So that's why now you've kind of been seasoned with that, you know. So like I said, I fold clothes.
Where
I
you
stay in the
work?
garage and work out.
And you
She's in the garage,
out.
you know, working. Say she working out anyway.
You weren't
That would have
folding
sound
clothes 20 years ago.
that would have sound like anyway, but yeah.
And we fight over quarantine snacks too.
Y'all fight over quarantine snacks. Rice cakes. Y'all fighting over rice cakes, but the rest of us fighting over Doritos.
Oreo.
And I'm
No,
my kids.
I don't
hate
find no rice.
I didn't say
I don't even eat them. So
No.
Millers, thank you. We're gonna come back to you, but yes, thank you for sharing that. So yes, y'all, and one of the things I heard them say is we have to pray together. And you look, it's not easy. Some of the couples that I've been talking to, I have not been talking to all younger couples. I've been talking to couples who've been married just as long as you've been married, or longer. Some who've been married longer, and they are struggling. We are in a fight. We are in a fight. And some of you, I haven't talked to you at all, but I know that this may not be easy. So now we're gonna shift to the couple that's been married the least amount of time out of our couples. And they are in a very different situation right now as we are in the midst of this pandemic. Hamilton and Alana Grant, and they are our. I don't know if I should say that or not, but Junior will be coming in May. I was about to say our little boy. It was gonna be one more little boy will be coming. And I'm talking about.
I'm trying to be safe. So
Yeah.
Just here you go.
Anyway, will be coming in May, right?
Yeah, May 17th. So 4 weeks.
T-minus 30 days.
T-minus 30 days. So talk to us about sheltering in place, being a newly married couple, being a very social couple. I mean, even being in politics and the line of work that both of you do, it's very public work. You're always out. You're always in the public eye. Your calendar is always full, and now you're home. Talk to us about that. How has the transition been?
Yeah, so sure. First, want to thank you all for having us. I'm Hamilton and my wife, Alana Grant. I think since this time of sheltering in place and COVID-19, I think we've experienced just about every emotion that you could think of, right? From the passing of my grandmother at the beginning of March to getting ready to have a baby, to working from home and running a entire campaign for political office all at the same time. So under normal circumstances, our household and our day-to-day activities are pretty busy. And then for this all to hit, it put a lot of things on hold. We heard the word creativity earlier. You really have to get creative. Alana is working from home with the state agency, and real estate. And thankfully, with the business that I do with financial consulting and working with a lot of churches, that allows me to be home, to work from home and have an at-home office. But I think, I was already doing 8-hour days just working. And then after work, going into full campaign mode and going to 2 or 3 mixers a night of events just to get out there and campaign and politic. And for all of that to stop, it really kind of gave me a reality check on letting me know how fast and how hard I was actually going. And it also opened my eyes to say, hey, if you're putting all of your energy and all of your time towards something outside of the home, how much are you really investing back into your own household, into your own foundation? Because before I can be anything out there, I've got to be everything in here. So I think contrary to what a lot of people and a lot of couples may face, This time for us was really a blessing at the most critical and most important time of our lives, getting ready to welcome our first child. So to be home, I too am doing a lot of laundry. I too am cleaning a lot of dishes.
Just
Yo,
wait.
so check this out. At the beginning,
when you are pregnant,
but
doing anything.
I hear that and respect that.
No, you don't.
I get it.
No,
I get it.
Okay.
But at the beginning of March, our dish, so literally every night I am washing tons of dishes, and I hated washing dishes growing up. Thank God the dishwasher man is coming tomorrow to check out what's going on. But washing dishes, washing clothes, cleaning up around the house, putting together a baby nursery, running a virtual campaign. But God has allowed us to do all of this from the comfort of the home and actually help each other out. So it can get a little contentious at times. What relationship doesn't? But all in all, it's been an absolute blessing, and it's been much needed.
Amen.
Yeah.
Hamilton, we have people who are watching this broadcast from everywhere. So can you speak to what position are you referring to? You're just saying that you're campaigning. So can you share that information, please?
No, sure. Thanks for asking. So I'm running for Richland County Council, District 8. For those who are familiar with Richland County, that's Northeast Richland County. So you're looking at parts of Decker Boulevard, Two Notch Road, Polo Road, North Springs, Clipson Road, North Brickyard, Hard Scrabble, the Summit. That's pretty much my area. So we are running for that seat as an open seat. Our primary is on June 9th. Just quick things that we're running on. We're running on addressing food insecurities and food deserts, because right now over 65,000 residents in Richland County do not have access to affordable and healthy foods. We're running to bring transparency to the penny sales tax. I'm sure if you're familiar with Richland County, everybody knows the conditions that our roads are in and the projects that are going on with our roads. 3 of those major projects are over $148 million over budget and 3 years behind schedule. Richland County is the second largest county in the state of South Carolina, and with more residential homes popping up all over the county, you can't put the cart before the horse when it comes to infrastructure. Part of addressing that is finding out what happened with the penny sales tax so that we can regain the trust of the taxpayer. And lastly, we want to focus on infrastructure. Again, with Richland County being the second largest county in the state of South Carolina, we don't have the economic infrastructure that retains homegrown talent. One of the major reasons that is because we have some of the highest taxes in the states when it comes to commercial and industrial businesses doing business in our county. So address for more information, and go to our website, www.grantforsc. You should never give a politician the mic, because I'm going to run with it. I appreciate it.
We see it. We see a preacher or a politician.
Whatever. I could not have articulated it so well. So thank you for sharing that. As people want to know, and you know that we're praying for the campaign. I want to put this out there, and I'm paraphrasing here, but you said something that was so critical, and it resonated with me because this is exactly how I felt. So I could so identify when you said something about being everything out there. And it doesn't matter if you're everything out there, but you're nothing in here. And for me, what COVID-19 and this whole quarantine has brought to me was also how busy I was. Now, everybody know everybody know. Okay, I wear a lot of hats and very busy. However, in the midst of all of that busyness, I was able to, the way that I took time for myself and made sure that I centered and I took care of myself, by doing things that I can't do now. So when my stress level would tick up, I know go and get a massage, go and sit in and get your nails done, go and sit in, do things like that. Go to the lake and just sit and be with the water and do those types of things. But when we got to this place where those places are closed, then I realized, wow, most of my coping strategies and coping mechanisms, they're non-existent. They're not available to me right now. And so I think during this time, you have to learn how to come up with new strategies and new things to do to still make sure that you're not the grumpy old man or grumpy old woman in the house, especially if there are other people in the house, in the house with you. And so that was just very critical. I knew how much I was running and how much I was going, but it wasn't until I actually had to sit in one place with it and be at one with all of my stuff and realize that if I really was at one with all of my stuff, I could sit in front of my computer from 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. With my kids literally knocking on the door saying, "Mommy, do you want me to bring you some water? Would you like a bottle of water? Are you coming out to eat?" And I'm like, wait, it was crazy. Don't look at me like that. And so that's been that's been something that that just resonated with me, because I'm like, at the end of the day, what does it really matter that I'm doing all of this out there if my kids are saying, "You got another meeting on the phone, like you have enough," like that's what they say, "You got another meeting, another something." And so we want to make sure, for some of us, for me, I'll speak for me right now, even though we've been home for over a month now. Did they leave? Even though we've been home for over a month now, I my workload, it is not slowed down. It is just happened in a different way. It is just there's just different things that's going on. Yes, did I miss something?
I didn't say nothing.
But I don't get the I talked to some of my friends, and I have one good friend. I don't know if she's watching, but she has redecorated her home and she's done home improvement projects, and she sends pictures and they're beautiful, and I'm like, I'm still trying to find time to sleep in the midst of all this. Yeah, can anybody else relate, identify with that? I see Shakia, Montez, y'all are chiming in.
But see, the reality, what this
I'm
thing is
sleeping good.
what this thing is teaching us too
When you can sleep.
is
Right.
how much is too much. I mean, because the reality is, if you are working from sun up to sundown and you didn't recognize it before, and that's what this has revealed, the question then becomes, what do you change? Because you can't continue that pace,
You talking
right?
to
I am now, but I wasn't, but I am now. I mean, y'all
Right.
know me.
Right, and so we're midstream. So I know he's talking to me, because we do this thing, we do this dance, and y'all, this is real. This is what it's all about. Like, there's this tension, because it's like I'm always in the office with the door closed, because I'm always doing something. I'm always working. But you know what? Out my favorite line is this won't last long. Like this won't last long. Not this pandemic that we in, but projects that I'm working on. So if I'm working on a project for work, or if I'm in school, well, school ends May 2nd, praise the Lord. So that will be so much time. The key is, now this is the key. And I'm telling this to help somebody else, because I got it. Trust me, I've learned this lesson. Don't fill that time with anything else. We just can't fill that time with anything else. If you get a break now, cherish this time. I love that Montez and Shakia said that they were able to spend that week. It was a week, but they were able to have so much fun and do so many fun things with their family, with their children. These are the kind of memories that we should be creating. Like, oh my gosh, not when can we go back to work, because I'm sick of being in the house with y'all. Go ahead, Montez and Shakia.
Montez, how did y'all handle like the school schedule? I mean, like having to become teachers, because I know the schools were
Homeschool, yeah.
homeschooling, because like teachers were sending our kids copious amounts of work. How did you guys handle that?
Well, for that, we just allowed it some time for reading and doing the homework assignment. So every week I have to pick up Bryson, which is our oldest son, work packet. So every day we try to do at least 2 hours of work, maybe 30 hours of reading.
I teach life skills after we get finished doing academics. We teach one and doing life skills, and so we're just doing things that maybe off the that's not on the lesson plan, but it's things that I wouldn't have time to normally do if I was busy like you, Miss Robinson, and being a socialite and having meetings after meetings. So I was able to slow down and teach them different things that I may have not been able to do before. Some things outside, or so it's just some things around the house. So just taking that time to teach different skills that's not necessarily book related.
And that's key, because I actually mentioned that to someone. Oh, eBay. I actually mentioned that to someone last night. We can't keep up. The school year is going to look different for everybody. Then we're just going to have to deal with the 2021 school year. And so most of us who are parents, and even those of us who are parents who are educators, we're typically not our child's educator. And so we can't go in and try to do every single assignment and every single thing. And our kids are only kindergarten and first grade, but it's times 3. Everything we have to do is times 3. And no, everybody's getting the same story, and that's good that they're close enough that they can get that. But I had to just resolve that we're doing reading, writing, and arithmetic. And like you said, Montez, we went outside and we planted garden. Everybody had their own pot, their own tomato plants that they needed to plant. They have to go out and water those plants every day. They have to talk to them, because I told them that plants will grow better if they talk to them. So they pray over those plants, because we want those tomato plants to grow, because they eat a lot. We want the cucumbers and the squash to really grow. So we go outside and we water and we pray over those. And we may not have time to do some of that stuff if we were in school all day, every day. So think about different things that you can teach your kids and different things that you can do with them and with the grandkids. So I'll say that too with the grandparents who are on and the grandparents to be. I mentioned this to my mother-in-law, or maybe she mentioned it to me, but I'm ready to implement it. I think my mom is on. Story time. Like, let somebody else. We can't go to grandma's house or hang out with them or things like that, but they can read stories virtually. Just have a time where you're reading. Don't feel like, as parents who may be watching this now, that you have to be the expert and you have to do all of this. Call on another friend or another family member. I have someone that I'm calling on. She lives alone. I don't know if she's watching right now, but I'm like, hey, we can set up a time for you to do a call with the boys every week, and you could just read them a story or show them something cool or teach them something virtually. That's the world we live in. That's where we are now. And so we got to think about, I don't have to do all the educating for my children. We can allow other people to come in and help us with that. So, you speak?
I am.
Okay.
It's rare.
All right.
But I am. But yeah, not really though. So I think what we're having to do is redefine community, and how we're going to, relate in the midst of our quote unquote community. Because reality is, our kids, they came programmed. That's what they do. Tablets, computers, and so it doesn't bother them at all. My thing is, I want to make sure that that they do learn those intangibles that Montez kind of alluded to. So, for instance, something that we do every day is we take a walk around our lake, around the lake in our neighborhood, and just try to make sure we have just time to impart. Because reality is they catch on like a sponge, especially at the age our kids are. And so teaching them those things that I think matter the most, those values, I think this is a good time God is allowing us to do that. And so I would admonish any parent to take that time and do that. One thing that I do recognize that has been upset with this whole COVID-19 is just a typical schedule, and a lot of our activities were excuses to not spend time at home. Like, I've literally had 6 conversations last week about now that we don't have to take kids to the baseball game, now that we don't have to take kids to piano lessons or do this and do that, and now that we have to be at home, now it's like nobody knows how to be at home.
Oh, we don't know how to be at home.
So it's like it's almost uncomfortable to the point where you don't know how to be at home. You don't know how to relate to those that you produce, to those that you committed to. And so I think it's a situation where we're going to have to actually learn how to be at home and learn what family is again. And so I think it's not going to be a bad thing. Are people losing money? Is it a crisis? Yes. But one of the things I've noticed, and I know most people notice this, if you're of a certain age, we've lost our sense of family, especially in our community. We don't really have a good sense of family anymore. It's kind of everybody's out for themselves. Mm-hmm. So if the kids have an agenda, we go with the kids. If you got an agenda, we go with you. But there's no central location where people come together, have a strategy as a family to impact the community, which is what we used to do. whether we wanted to or not. That's what we had to do.
Right.
And so I think that's what we're having to get back to, and it's a little bit uncomfortable.
So yes, and you're right. You're right. So I want to hear from some of you. I'm going to go to Hamilton and Alana in a second, to tell us, just as Marcus talks about the sense of family, as you're getting ready to bring a little one into your home during this time. What's going to be your? You're already at a new norm, but how do you do that with your moms and your dads and your usually when the baby is born, everybody, the family gathers, and we're not going to be able to do this, but I think that it's super special to be able to bring the child into this world during this time, because like Marcus said, it is during the time now where all the family, mother and father and child will have to be there, and will be able to put new things in place that we traditionally haven't done before. But I don't want to leave you out. Those of you who are on, and who are watching, tell us some of your strategies and tips. Type some of them in the comment bar. We're going to go through and share some of those with our guests as well. So Hamilton and Alana, talk to us about this new norm and bringing little baby Grant into the home.
So when we talked with my doctor about what I guess would be allowed, she already told us, we can't have any visitors at the hospital. I was concerned because I was seeing some reports that weren't even allowing fathers to come into delivery, and that just wasn't going to work for me. But thankfully, our hospital isn't there yet, or isn't there. Hopefully, they never get there. But I said all that to say that this is the first grandchild on both sides, and we each have 3 siblings apiece. So we have pretty big families who are very excited about the baby being here, and they won't be able to be there in those first few hours. On the bad side, it's like that's not how we originally intended for this to go. But on the bright side, it's like we do get that time to just bond with the baby, with just me and Hamilton. And, we get to come home and just kind of be for a second before we have our families to come over. So it gives us a chance to really be able to just adjust as much as we can until we're comfortable having people over. And we don't have to worry about the thing that a lot of new moms tell me that they struggled with, oh, you can't see the baby yet, or people coming to see the baby before they're ready, because now people are really conscious about doing anything. So that is one good part to it. But it's just been really interesting in preparing for the baby. We had a baby shower planned. We canceled that. So we just did an online registry. And, typically or traditionally, our people don't buy from registries, but now they didn't have no choice but to buy from the registry. So, we've been blessed because we've gotten a lot really off of our registry. We've been able to do the nesting phase. I've been able to take the naps that I wouldn't have been able to take if I were going to work every day. And I've really been able to rest in preparation for the baby. And Hamilton and I have been able to spend time with each other and watch Netflix, or fight over snacks, or fight over cleaning, or fight over really me telling him how to clean, since I can't clean the way that I want to clean. But nonetheless, we've had a lot of time to prepare for all of that. And originally, that was one of my concerns with Hamilton running a campaign, me working 2 jobs, Hamilton having a job outside of the campaign, and us just being involved in a lot of community activities. I remember looking at the calendar, like, okay, I'm supposed to do all this in my 3rd trimester. Like, how is that even going to work? But, I guess we never had to figure it out. God just slowed everything down. And now we have ample time to go through what we want to put the nursery together. Remember when we were trying to figure out when we were going to even put the nursery together?
We literally had to make a calendar to put the nursery together.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so if we're going to have the baby shower and we expect certain groups to come in from Monday to Wednesday at 8 o'clock or something like that, I'll be spending time putting the nursery together. Like that's
It
how
was pretty
busy
bad.
we were. Yeah.
Well, that's how busy he was. I
It was
told him.
us.
Okay, well, I told him he was really busy before, and now he knows how right I was. But that's another subject.
It's another live.
That's another live. That's another video. Another broadcast.
Right.
Another broadcast. Great. Gosh, I mean, yeah, you are. It is a privilege. I will tell you. I mean, granted, you're going to want help, and you're going to want those hands on deck. I mean, there's nothing more sacred, I believe, and helpful than having your mom or your mother-in-law there
Yeah.
to help. You know, your mom, his mom. You know, when I say mom, I mean both of your moms, but mom's there. Our moms were great for us during that time. But the fact that you will have this time to bond, and that you have this time to rest and to enjoy each other. 'Cause
Yeah.
trust me, it all ends soon. But the fact that you have this time, it's amazing. You don't have to go into this period tired. You don't have to go into this period drained. Um, and so that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. I want to go. I'm going to circle back around to the Millers, unless you were going to chime in and say something. I just wanted to circle back around. We've been on about 45 minutes now, and thank y'all for hanging in there with us. But as we try to bring the broadcast to a close, I want to circle back around. And again, people are watching. People are watching, whether they're people who live alone or whether they're couples, and they are trying to figure this thing out. And so I want us to think of, come up with just some solid, clear, concrete, strategic things that individuals can do um, in the midst of this pandemic to try to still maintain peace and harmony in their household. So let me put out number one. Everybody, we're going to pray. All right? So prayer is already out there. All right, we got prayer. We got prayer. I guess the one thing I would share, so we'll go from us to the Millers, to the Haynes, and then to the Grants. I like the fact that some type of physical activity takes place in our house. I think that helps, and I like Brother Miller said this earlier, to be able, you can go, even if you got two rooms, a 2-room house. Somebody can go to one room and somebody can go to another room just for a little while. And that those things are very important. Go outside. Go outside and walk. Go outside and garden. Go outside and do something, even if you just sit on the front porch. My thing for any family, anybody that's watching, that's trying to figure this out, I would say, please just get outside.
One of the things I probably would look at is make sure you participate in the change, in the new normal. Because like what I'm seeing, a lot of people, they're just kind of letting this thing happen to them.
Oh.
And so it's kind of like when you let something just happen to you, you don't participate in it, you're going to feel overwhelmed, first of all. And the second thing is you'll probably start casting blame at some point. And the closest people to you are generally the people who are going to catch this blame. So what you want to do is participate in the change. You know, our schedules are pretty much blown. Whatever we did 3 months ago, 6 months ago is totally irrelevant. And so you're not going to be able to look back and say, this is my point of reference, because none of us have experienced this before.
Right.
So there's no point of reference. None of us are old enough on this live to talk about depression.
Right.
So literally, we've got to look at, okay, what does the new normal look like? What is our part in it? How do we bring our kids into what this new normal is and not reference the past and taint them? Because it's easy to say, well, man, they're not having a childhood. They don't get to run. They don't get to go to the park. They don't get to do this. They don't get to do that. Well, the reality is, as a parent, we got to figure that out. Does that mean we have to create a park in our backyard? What do we have to do to create that experience for them? That's our responsibility. And then, as a couple, how do we figure out how to carve out time for us in the midst of still running businesses and organizations, a church? How do you do that? You know, be all of these things to everybody else, and at the same time have time for yourself and be what you need to be to your spouse. So the new normal, even for pastors won't be as available. Committee chair persons and whoever's in leadership, it won't be the same. And so, trying to figure out what that is, all I'm gonna say is participate in the process.
In the process. Okay. All right. You take it to the Millers. Did they forget the question by now?
I don't know.
Yeah, give us some parting tips,
They're not that
Mr.
old.
Mr. Business Miller, for people who may be having a difficult time during this season. Oh, and I just thought of one more, but I'm gonna wait. I'll do it at the end. Don't let me forget. I'll be the one that
You
forget.
might
Give
wanna
us some.
type that.
Give us some tips.
Yeah, you're right. We're not that old. We've just been married for a long time. That's all. All I got to say is because I've talked enough. I'm gonna let my wife talk a little bit. All I can say is out of respect for your partners, your partner, or what have you, just respect what they want to do. Sometimes we get caught up into doing our own thing, and we don't realize the things that they do. So out of just respect what they do. My wife is a gamer. I don't do that. She play video games. Yes, she play video
Know
games.
that.
Little
That's
known
good to
Black
know.
history
Little
fact.
fact. Yeah. Okay.
Uh, I haven't graduated to that yet. I still don't play video games. So I'm working on that. So with this all going on, that's my one tip. Fellas, if you don't play video games, your wife play them. Start playing video games. So that's all I have.
Just taking time to have fun with each other, listen to each other. One thing that we had been doing is taking evening walks together, which has been really just good for us because that's our time to talk and then exercise and just enjoy each other's company. And that's the thing, just getting to know each other and actively listening to each other, praying together, and just being creative and having fun together. I mean, that's what it's all about, just having fun. Create a new normal.
New normal. Have fun. Okay.
Monte.
Shakia, what y'all got for us?
But what I have will make both of you all proud because the Bible says in Romans 8:28 that all things work together. So I know you'll be proud of that part. So all things that work together is that we're able to save money in ways that we wouldn't normally be able to save money. So Mr. Robert, you'll be happy on that side. So
Yeah.
things that for the real estate side, things that I would have normally called people for to go fix or repair or do, I do now because I don't have meetings or other things that I am involved in that can free me up to be able to do those things. My wife does graphic designs and stuff, so she's able to produce more orders and have a clearer mindset. I know that she doesn't have other distractions, so we are able to save money. Since we're not vacationing and going on trips, we can save money to things that we can pay bills off or buy other purchases. So that's one of the things that we've trying to do, and that hope other couples can see as well. Cook as much as you can. Save the time to cook, and then cooking together can also bring you together as well. So we all bond over food. So just taking that time to prepare meals for each other, healthy meals, making a space inside of a space. Just because you're in the same residence doesn't mean that you can't create another space inside your space. Make it whatever you want it to be. Make a sanctuary somewhere. Make it a place where you can exercise. So that's your gym. Just make spaces inside of a space. So don't get confined to your home and see it as a prison, but make it a place where it's enjoyable and it's peaceful.
Right. That's good. Did you have something? She said that's good. You had something else to add, Shakia? No.
Montez, how many houses you gonna buy under this quarantine?
I'm trying to be like you when I grew up, so I'm trying to look for 50 or 60, but we'll aim for 1 or 2.
1 or 2.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to get your aspirations higher. Get to 6 to 8. All right.
Let me read one of these. Mom says they said they communicate more. Pillow talk. I don't know how I feel about that since my mom was the one who typed that. Pillow talk and watch movies together. That's awkward. Yeah, so that's some advice. Communicate more. Have that pillow talk. Okay, okay. We go to sleep like that. Do those things. Anybody else weigh in? Come on, weigh in. Let us know what are some of the things that you're going to do. Definitely communicate more. Communication is definitely communication is key.
Wow.
Go ahead, the Grants. What you have?
Go
Hamilton.
ahead.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
sorry.
that's you.
Really, I think perspective has a lot to do with, I guess, dealing with this whole situation. For me, just adjusting, or for us rather, adjusting our perspective to see the bright side of things. Because even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, there is a bright side. And for us, that biggest thing is time. Like, we have more time to just be. And that's something that we wouldn't have gotten any other way, really. So it's just like, like I was talking earlier about the baby shower. Like, a lot of people are really upset that they couldn't have their baby shower. And at first I was too. And then I thought about it. Oh, we didn't have to pay for a baby shower. And I didn't have to dress up. I didn't have to do any of that stuff. So I'm just like, oh, well, the perspective on that shifted quickly. And so just finding the bright side of things helps a lot with your mental health. And then also finding your fun. For us, we know what our fun is. It's eating and binge watching stuff on Netflix. So when we cook, we decide what we gonna eat for dinner or what we're gonna have for lunch, and we find a good show, and that's a good time for us. So that's really been helping us to get through this while also spending good time with each other, not doing anything super productive, because I like to be productive, and he gets overproductive sometimes. So just being able to just for us to be able to just watch TV or do something mindless is really just, it's working for us.
And then, to add on to that, just make sure you're taking care of your mental health. I think all of us that are on this broadcast, we're blessed to be in good situations. We're not at each other's throats between spouses ready to kick down the door. But, that's not everybody's testimony. Some people are in this thing by themselves. Some people have real life things going on. Some people may have lost loved ones. Some people may even be going through the coronavirus themselves and then can't have that emotional support. So just make sure you take care of your mental health, whether it's you need to go for a walk, whether you need to FaceTime your friends, have a Zoom happy hour, or whatever it is. Because even though we're social distancing, we should not disconnect emotionally. So making sure that you're calling and checking on people, making sure you're checking on yourself, because if you're not good, when we come out of this pandemic, none of that is even going to matter. So, you have to be in the right space. You have to be in the right environment. Take this time for yourself, because once we come out of all of this, you may not know the next opportunity you have to recharge and to refocus. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're checking on people, and always, as we are social distancing, don't disconnect from your emotions.
Okay, wow. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Those were some very good tips. I hope that those who are watching, we have some who are single who are watching, some who are married, people saying in the chat that they cook together more, they have more dinners together, whereas before we may have been on the run. Some are saying it's just her and her dog. She can't imagine having to deal with a whole nother person right now during this. There's gonna be another one. We're gonna follow up with that, Summer. We're gonna have one for people who do live by themselves, and maybe we should do something with that as well, and let you lead that discussion for us. I will say to those who may be watching who are working from home, you're like me, you're constantly working, you're trying to juggle with the kids Zoom and video sessions and your sessions work, and maybe even you're in school. My thing is also, you don't have to attend all the Zoom meetings. Let's just put that. You don't have to attend all the meetings, because I promise you, everybody in my newsfeed, everybody in my timeline, everybody in my email, wants to have a meeting, wants to have something else that's new. And I'm like, wait, I can't do all this. Everybody, there's a virtual everything. You don't have to attend them all, because what I definitely found, whereas your schedule was full being out of the house all day, as I alluded to earlier, it definitely can become full with just you being in the house all day from 10 to 10 on Zoom calls. So you don't have to do that. If you're in a leadership position, then empower others to lead. Empower others to lead. And even since I've been on this call, this live, I've had to empower staff to lead, because I don't have to make every decision. Like, you're there, lead. Do what needs to be done. I'm doing something else right now. And you have to be okay with that. We'll talk. Monday will come, and we'll talk on Monday. But as for right now, deal with what needs to be dealt with. Don't become paranoid. Don't become paranoid. Yeah, we're going to pray, but we're not going to be paranoid. We're going to exercise faith over fear, and in all things Christ. We're going to lift up Christ over this crisis. When we first started, whenever Marcus walked in the door, I wanted to just spray him with Lysol. I know y'all want Lysol, right? There's none. But I just wanted to spray him before I hug him. I didn't want to touch him. I didn't want to do anything. Like, nope, I'm spraying. I'm not touching you. Or, you come in the door and you put everything in the washing machine. You do all those type things. And then all that is important. Don't get me wrong. But we can become so paranoid that we're doing nothing else but every time somebody steps their foot somewhere, we're wiping it up. We can't do anything. We don't want to get to that state. We want to still be able to live in our own homes. And I did have a friend who told me, Hamilton, that once my last class is over, that we're going to have a Zoom happy hour. I was like, okay. That was kind of interesting to me. That was new to me, a Zoom happy hour. But use Zoom, use the technology. I can't just use this technology for work, and whether it's Zoom or whatever platform you use. Have time where you do use this platform to get together with family and friends. I do it with my family. We do every Sunday. We get together. I've done some calls with a few girlfriends. We get together, one or two, and we've done some of this. Get together outside of church and work on these calls, and use it for fun. You do the same thing, right?
Yeah. Family, church, eternity.
Can I add something to that, Miss Robinson?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We have to, during this time, we're making a lot of adjustments and a lot of lifetime changes, but we can also definitely use those lifestyle changes after the pandemic is over. We shouldn't stop doing some of those things that we're doing. We shouldn't allow a pandemic to make us stop and make us date, or make us cook, or make us, exercise or do certain things. So some of these things we need to carry on when this pandemic is over, and make them lifestyle changes, and not allow a pandemic to make us have to make changes that we should have made prior to.
Amen. I agree. Yes, I'm loving the money that we're saving by cooking. It has been amazing. So I agree with you that tired of eating some of the same stuff, but that just challenges us to get new recipes. Woo. Thank you. Stop it. Thank you, everyone, for sharing tonight. Thank you for all the people who are posting in our comments. I ask you to, if you're watching again online, to please share this broadcast with others. I'm so grateful for our guests, especially one young lady who stayed up during this time to chat with us. She didn't have to stay on this event, because I know that she goes to sleep at 7-8 o'clock every night. But thank you, Alicia Miller, for going past your bedtime and staying up with us. Yes, I had to call you out. So thank you for being on. To the Millers, to the Haynes, and to the Grants. Thank you all so much. This has been wonderful. Please, again, share this with others. This has been another episode of Faith, Family, and Finance, and we'll be back with you next Sunday.
Absolutely.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.